Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to do something a little different. This was brought to my attention. It is very relative to Southeast Asia, and that's the process and the life of being a teacher abroad here in Southeast Asia. Now this story is focused on America, but when I saw this article, again, a friend sent this over to me. He's like, is this how bad it is out there, or is it getting this bad? And I watched this video and I laughed in disappointment because it's sad to see that the chaos of Asia's education, which is literally a joke at this point, Southeast Asia to be more specific, is a joke. We are glorified babysitters to pretty much every extent. Our job is to make sure these kids are pretty much entertained for the 45 to 90 minutes that they are in this room with us, and we just make sure that they don't die or get beat up or anything, right? We're just babysitters. And this article is talking about how they're not matching America and Asia together, but this story shows how wild things are getting in America to the point where the education in Asia or in America seems like it's getting worse to the point where it's comparable to Southeast Asia, where personally I feel it's some of the worst I've ever seen. So without further ado, let's get into the article, and then I want to show you this TikTok video of this teacher. She's younger. She's like 22. So, and I've watched it through. It's like a 7-minute video. I've got down to the last like 2 minutes 2 minutes of it that's valuable. I want you to get rid of this idea that she's too young, or she doesn't have experience, or she doesn't understand. Listen to her story. And take this story to your other friends that live in Asia that are teachers. They will tell you the same thing. She just took it way farther, putting it on TikTok and whatnot. So let's get into the article real quick, and then from there, let's check out the video. So first part, let's go ahead and get this article. This was sent over to me from a friend of mine back in America asking me. So we're going to use this. This is an American journalist, I guess. So bear with the vocabulary if you're not aware of it. Ballet teacher exposes bad parents and kids in viral video. And ballet, if you don't know what that is, it's just dancing. So a viral video has been floating around social media featuring a teacher discussing the issues the kids in her class have. The woman says that she's a 22 years old teacher at a ballet class with 10 students, which are all 5 years old. So this is like primary level. And you expect a little chaos with a 5-year-old. Now she explains that all these kids exhibit serious behavioral issues when it comes to basic things such as sitting in their assigned spots. They are also aggressive and physically violent. These kids throw things at their classmates and other people, and when the teacher brings up behavior issues with the parents, she is met with more disrespect. The behavior of the children comes from their parents. Such a thing is unsustainable as children in other parts of the world are learning advanced subjects matters at young age without behavioral difficulties. And this is where I kind of I don't agree. Like in Southeast Asia, the education out here, it's what it is. It's school, right? But when it comes to behavior issues, accountability, we've talked about this stuff countless times. It's not there. This is why I say go into a TEFL program in Southeast Asia where you pay them this exorbitant fee to learn how to teach, to get a TEFL, is a waste of money. Check the link below and get the TEFL way cheaper, because none of these programs will ever get you ready for the chaos that happens out here. TEFLs don't teach you how to deal with abuse, emotional abuse, screaming, yelling, TAs walking out on you. They don't teach you about how you have to sell the scores, how you have to give them the test hours before the test. If they fail the test, you have to fix it. How you have to lie to parents to say their kids are the best of the best. Don't ever say anything critical about them. Keep it real, as they say. And realize and keep it so they keep paying their monthly dues, right? And when I saw this, it was just like no. Like here in Southeast Asia, we're not learning more advanced stuff. We are learning more sciences, maths, and STEM programs, stuff like that. But it's stuff that we learned in America back in like 2000s, like what stuff I learned in high school. We are now introducing out here. You know, we were just learning how to do like potassium and whatnot, and how you throw a rock in the water like sodium and it catches on fire. This is stuff they're learning now in high school. This is new to them. This is stuff that we learned back in the 80s. You know what I mean? So it isn't. Asia's not improving in that respect. China's not improving. Thailand, Vietnam, definitely not. Malaysia's really not. Singapore's kind of catching up. Japan's starting to push way more. So let's check out the video real quick on what she says, and then we'll kind of talk about it to get out of here. But let's hear it out.
Elementary school to high school, I'm calling you out. The children today, I have never experienced, and I'm 22. Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life.
Now I want to say right there, most traumatic thing in our life. This is literally what I hear from the females that come out to Asia to teach. The ones that never last a few months, and that's kind of a thing. A lot of female teachers that come out to like Vietnam and Thailand, they don't last. It's usually the guys that last the longest, and females are typically better teachers. So the idea that the better teachers say things like this, where it's like traumatic to them, it freaks them out, it destroys them to the point where they leave the country, is so normal.
I teach 5-year-olds ballet, 5-year-old girls ballet. I have a class of 10 students. They don't respect any authority. You ask them, can you stand in your designated spot? They're telling you no and shut up. They're throwing things at each other. They're throwing things at other people, other classmates. You say, can everybody sit in their spot? I don't want to. I'm not doing that. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my mom. You confront the parent. The parent tries to argue with you and fuss at you because you tried to reprimand and redirect their kid.
This is a big part, and I want to break this in here. This is something I said earlier, and I've said this in other videos, like you can't fail students in Southeast Asia. It's impossible. You just can't. You can give them a 0, but that grade will be changed by the native or non-native, what do you call it, like the Viet or the Thai teacher that's in charge. Like every classroom in Asia usually has like a main teacher, like a homeroom teacher from that country, right? They'll typically change the grade because you turn your grades into these teachers and they validate the grades and then they do what they do. So for you to recommend a student means that you're the problem. The amount of times I've told parents or schools like, yo, these kids are out of control. These kids are wild. Like, what is the problem? Like, can I get a little assistance? Yada, yada. It always comes back and bites me in the back. Like, I will literally get fired from a job because I complain that kid keeps throwing stuff at me. I'm being literally physically abused, and I'll be the one fired. They got cameras in the room showing this stuff. And there was this job I worked at when I was in North Vietnam. This is years ago. And there was this kid, and he stabbed one of the teachers. Like, not to the point where blood hit, but he stabbed him with like a pencil or something like that, and the pencil broke. It was on camera. They gave the teacher a copy of the footage. And they still fired the teacher because the parents were unhappy, saying that he was so bad that their son or daughter needed to stab somebody. What? You see how that's an issue. And this happens a lot. This is why you can't recommend students. This is why you can't complain about students to the schools. And I've said this many, many times in all these videos I've ever done when it came to discipline and stuff. Don't do it. The more you complain, the more you try to discipline, the more you try to improve the manners and the respect of students, the more you're going to walk yourself into an unemployment line. You just have to let it happen. And you have to suck it up because that's all we are daycare employees. We're making sure their kids stay in this room for 90 minutes. That's it. The test? Who gives a shit? These kids are literally given the test before they take the actual test in their government program schools. So it doesn't even matter what we're doing. It's a mess.
A young little girl, please sit in your spot. You're not my mom. You don't tell me what to do. Okay. When her mom came to pick her up, I said, hey, your daughter's having a hard time following instructions. And 7 times today, I've had to redirect her to just sit in her spot. Well, clearly she didn't want to sit. And mind you, this is a mom. Clearly she didn't want to fucking sit right there. So, I mean, if she's telling you she don't want to do something, why keep asking her to do it? You know she's not going to do it. What world do we live in? Like,
I stopped that twice. This is so true. I've been to the teacher-parent conferences, and I understand Vietnamese. I don't speak it the best, but I understand it. And when I used to go to these teacher-parent things, this happened in Thailand this year as well, we would say our thoughts. You know, your son could benefit by not bringing toys to school and actually paying attention and not harassing people. And this reminds me of a story. Let me tell you about this one kid. This kid, so his diet consists of Pepsi and donuts. His parents literally dropped him off at the school with a bag of sugar at this point. And when he got in class, he was out of control. He's running around like a monkey. If you guys seen that movie of with the black hair, the girl comes out of the TV. You know what I'm talking about? I leave a comment below if you know what I'm talking about. But that movie, he was doing that stuff, like climbing on stuff, acting weird, throwing stuff at people. He would pull down the girl's underwear. Like, and mind you, these are like, he was 6 or 7, and the girls in the class were between the age of 4 and like 6. So this is a younger age group, same as what she was going through. And we had to do something because the girls started crying about it. These girls were being sexually harassed, is what it came down to, and we brought it to the attention of the admin of that class, the homeroom teacher. So when we were at this parent meeting thing, I brought it up about, your son could do better, yada, 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 but we do have these problems. The translation never mentioned any of the things that I said, ever. Not once. And I even asked the Vietnamese person about, like, hey, you didn't say this. And she looked at me, he's like, no, we can't. We can't mention that. And I just looked, I was like, we can't mention that their son is sexually harassing girls in school? And at that point is kind of when I truly, truly, truly realized that we are just like white monkey babysitters. And if you complain, you're just part of the problem. But you also can't be part of the problem. Like, it's insane to me in like Southeast Asia. You can never be late. You have to be on time. You can't go outside the stem of the programs. You can't do anything wrong or you will be reprimanded. You'll get in trouble. You'll get fired. But the native people, like the Vietnamese teachers, the Thai teachers, they show up to class late all the time. They're like a week late on testing. Everything is wrong on their end. The students show up 20, 30 minutes late. It's okay. All this stuff happens, but we have to be the perfect ones. And I'm not trying to digress and like vent on you guys. This is just the reality of what we deal with in Asia. And when I hear this girl, like, she's only 22, so she's like new to the teaching game. And she works in America, so she's spent 4 or 5 years getting this degree. This is her career. And this is what she's going through? Jeez.
What in you guys' brain as a parent says, my kid not following any directions is a great thing. It's not that serious, and y'all don't have a right to tell her what to do. It's sad. It's sad. It's really, really sad. And another thing that's heart-wrenching, is horrifying. It is.
So I'm going to cut it short here. She actually does start crying. Like, she breaks down. But the idea is, this is insanity. This is what's going on in a lot of education. If you're a parent, you have opportunities. And really, education starts at home. I grew up with a very, not strict family, but there was rules. And there was consequences. And in today's society, there is none. Especially working for these schools. It's insanity. Like, you have to know what to do. And I'm not trying to scare you up. By all means, come out here. It's a great opportunity to travel, make some money, and see the world, But you got to be ready. You got to understand that you're not going to come out here and be like this massive teacher. Unless you're working at international schools and stuff. But you're just going to come out here and you're going to babysit. And you're going to get paid for it. Which is really cool, right? And you get to do it in Asia. My advice for you guys, and this isn't me just trying to blow up books here, but check out my activity books. You have to have activities. Your daycare staff out here. So check out those books. Get the activities. You're going to need them. And be ready for that stuff. But I mean, past that's kind of what education is like out here. And again, it's wild to see this video. This is America. This isn't Asia. Asia has been like this for like 14, 15 years that I've been here. But it's happening in America. The TikTok, the Facebook, the parents giving the phones to the kids saying, leave me alone. This idea that the teachers are now the acting parents, and the parents don't want anything to do with their children's education. They don't want to take accountability when their kids act out and do this stuff. It's mind-boggling to me. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think below. With that, I'm going to get out of here. We got work to do. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you again.